Okay, I want to take a minute and go over a couple things I've been doing. When I'm done with all this part, I'm going to show you what I've been doing today, which is just displaying some of the different movement patterns you can do with this. I think actually seeing it do its routine is going to help explain that if some people are kind of still hazy on what does what. So as for now though, I want to go over a couple new features I built in. We have a new HDR mode, and there's a guy who is shooting and he was just put the bulb mode on to 2 seconds, and then with that he was able to get the camera to trigger off 3 shots, and that's one way to do it, but I figured why not go ahead and put a real HDR mode on there. So I actually have 3 new modes built under the shot menu. This is the standard mode. This means it only shoots 1 shot every frame. The next one is focus tap. That's where it'll send a little spike to the camera to wake it up before it actually makes does the shot that it's intending to do. So it's just a little wake up nudge, because Canons will fall asleep after X amount of time. You can set it in the menu, but you don't want it on all the time or else it'll drain the batteries. Nikons kind of exist in a sleep mode non-stop. You don't need to do this focus tap with them, so this is really just a Canon feature. You don't need to tap it to wake up a Nikon, it's always ready. All they power is the LCD on top, and they can run weeks like that without draining down the battery. So then the next mode is HDR3 and HDR5. So this is a way to add high dynamic range capability to Chronos. So let me do a little example here. I'm going to put the mic on so hopefully you can still hear me as well, and then we should be able to hear the camera effect. I'm just going to clip it on over here so it gets both of us. Oh, maybe. Okay. So, what you gotta do if you want to do HDR mode is you put it into the shot mode. This battery's a little bit flaky, that's why it keeps bouncing. Okay, so it's in shot mode. Like I said, normally it's in once. So let's move to focus tap. That'll send a spike before it's camera. And then you also have HDR mode. So let's see how that works. You put in HDR for 3, then go to MGO and shoot. And see all 3 shots. Now the interval on this is 5 seconds, and it doesn't matter if I'm shooting 1 shot, the focus tap, 3 shots, or 5 shots. It will still be 5 seconds in between movements because I set the code up to account for that extra time. Let's go back to shot. Let's put that up to HDR5. Okay. There's 5 shots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and still they'll all bunch up as close to the end as they can, so it gives the most amount of time to settle down before it's going to be taking those shots. Now I don't know if you're going to really have time to do 5, but I put it on there just in case you want it. 3 seems like it would be a good idea. Another feature I added on, go over that really quick, is go over to the delay mode. You now have a block and pass through. Now this is for an external trigger mechanism. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in. I'm going to put on block, and block is the default mode. Now watch, as I trigger this, nothing happens, right? Nothing. I can't trigger it at all. I can only trigger it if I put it in slave mode and then start that way. See? But if I put it over to master, it won't shoot. Anywhere else, it won't shoot. So if I put it over to pass, watch. See? Probably, my whole head is probably in this. I apologize. I'm just trying to make sure I can see it. So it doesn't matter what mode it's on at this point. If this sees a trigger, it'll trigger the camera no matter what. So this, you can probably find some handy uses for this if you're doing work where you want to have a lead out. So you take 50 shots of delay and then 300 shots of movement and then maybe 50 shots of no movement. You can just use an external intervalometer. Also, a neat way that you could probably utilize this is when you're in the master mode and it's running. See, it'll do the normal shooting as it does, but watch this. Okay? I can trigger it again and again. So if you have a lightning trigger, you can get it to catch those bolts of lightning while doing a time lapse of the skies. So I thought that would be kind of a cool little thing to have in there. Anyway, that's what I've been up to. So we got the focus tap, 2 HDR modes, and we got the pass-through. And I fixed a bunch of issues. This is I'm running on an R3 Adreno right now, and I'm going to have this code out as soon as I finish cleaning it up. I'm still finding a couple little bugs here and there, and I want to just get it really scrubbed out before I put it out there. Anybody who already has a rail from me, I can get you a new copy of your code. You're going to have to go through the process of loading it into the Adreno yourself, and it's really not hard. You just run an application where you pull up the script, you plug in the Adreno with a USB cable like this to your computer, run the program, and then you just upload it to the board, and that's it. It's really simple, so you should be able to do that just fine. So take a look at these movement modes and enjoy.
transmission.